currently 7:54 p.m. I'm currently in the process of looking for a fine-tipped default red Sharpie marker. And other Sharpie markers I might need. Other colors I might need. To resume working on drawing and outlining the 50 crate. On the back of the polystyrene block for the Moogle polystyrene drawing project. This is after I spent roughly from 4 p.m. To about 7 p.m. Doing this to a small polystyrene ball in order to sort the hues of first purple and then ultimately blue from lightest to darkest based off each of the markers made rather than the color of their caps. And I just drew another circle, dotted circle on that polystyrene ball. In an effort to help me find a fine-tipped default red Sharpie marker to go with the ultra-fine default red Sharpie marker I have currently. The red dotted circle, I did the circle with this ultra-fine default red Sharpie marker, and then did the dot with this Sharpie marker, which, as it turns out, is slightly lighter than default red. First, I do all of the circles using an ultrafine Sharpie marker, and then make the dot in the middle of each circle using a fine-tipped Sharpie marker, with what I think is a fine-tipped equivalent to what color ultrafine Sharpie marker I used to make the circle. And then I compare the different dotted circles to determine how light or dark a pair of Sharpie markers are. Either one fine-tipped and one ultra-fine-tipped, or just one dual-tip Sharpie marker. Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past handful of hours. This is roughly what I've been doing since about 4:15 p.m. as the latest start time. Afterwards, after I had most of the leftover half of the Italian assorted full sub, Dad got for Dad and me. At Salvatore's yesterday. I saved about an inch or two of that leftover half of that sub, Italian assorted with mayo and light oil. Tomatoes, lettuce, onions, and some cold cuts. And pepper jack cheese. That was pretty good. Had that with most of the leftover order. A fried dough. And my dad requested 6 pieces of fried dough. So that's how many I saved. Putting those 6 leftover pieces, wrapping it in some of the wrapping that was used for the sub. And I took what I ripped after ripping the sub, put the bigger piece in with the container the fried dough was in. And after having that, I continued making efforts to sort my marker satchel. Semi-focused while going through my current rotation of games on Kongregate. That I haven't earned all of the badges on yet. And around 5:30 p.m., I had what was left over of the seasoned broccoli. It was about a few days old at that point, but was perfectly fine. If a bit tender and chewy. and salty because, again, it was seasoned. Salty tasting, but it was perfectly fine. Around 11:45 in the morning, I had some of the box of granola cereal Mom's mom gave me during the last time Mom took me to her place to visit her, which I would say was about 2 weeks ago or so. Had that granola cereal with what was left of the old gallon of whole milk at the time. And I had that with my first cup of plain coffee. And had about 3 cups of plain coffee from 11:45 in the morning to 1:30 p.m. I recall waking up within the first hour of today after falling asleep within the last hours of yesterday, staying up until about 5:30 in the morning. Falling back asleep, and then waking up around 9:30 in the morning before quickly falling back asleep. And waking up for the last time about an hour later. At the earliest, and around 10:45 in the morning at the latest. Though I don't recall getting up until about somewhere between 11 in the morning and 11:30 in the morning. $11:30 in the morning. It's currently 11:12 p.m. I'm currently in the process of outlining the 50 of the 50 crate on the back of the polystyrene block, though I'm probably going to stop here so I can have some water before going to bed to stay on a good sleep schedule. Especially since I have to get up pretty early for work tomorrow. And in the coming days, I'll keep working on sorting my marker satchel, resorting it. Here's where I am on One Among Zombies. here's where I am currently on Gun Range Idle. I recall starting to play this game during the mid to late afternoon hours. After first seeing that Kongregate had badged it during the last night, as I was most likely about to leave another game on Kongregate I had in my rotation. During the late afternoon period, I got the easy badge for getting 100,000 of these stars. If I recall, it was during my second run. And then later on during the evening, I got the first medium badge for this game for mining 1 billion iron from this mine. I recall editing and uploading the October 23 my dinner video during the late afternoon, very late afternoon, evening hours. Though at one point, around 6:30 p.m., the upload ended up being paused because my phone's battery got too low and my phone turned off and I had to start charging it again. But thankfully, despite that occurring, nothing seems to be wrong with the video itself. It seems to have uploaded to YouTube, my channel, just fine.